All right. We're gonna start off with Lisa really coming up and giving us. You want me to check this out? All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we test of the things we think, say, or do, one, is it the truth? Two, is it fair to all concerned? Three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is Brenda here today? Brenda. Oh, she sometimes slides in all right. She's our inspiration. Does anybody have anything inspirational they'd like to share? Since I don't see Brenda here. Okay. Greg, you have a backup? Inspiration? We're looking for a backup inspiration, and I didn't even think about that today, because I was so looking forward to Brenda. Because she always gives such a wonderful inspiration. And, but Jim is gonna pull through, and I guess that's the only thing I need to put on my phone for future reference. Sometimes I don't have to do that. Trust me, you're my savior. Hang on.
Okay. Friend of mine sent me this. There is a proverb in Africa that says, when death finds you, make sure it finds you alive. Embracing all that is in the darkest hours of life so that we can live it fully. All the goodbyes, the heartbreaks, the reality of our existence.
That's very interesting. Thank you. So we go to humor. I just enjoy that. Okay. With that, Lisa Higgins was our. Did you have cards left to sell? Okay. If you come up here, I was up there. If you know everything is free. If you're not, I have some money up here. All right. So I was going to. I got back there, got distracted. Imagine that. And do we have any visiting Rotarians? Lisa, is there no visiting Rotarians? No guests? Okay, well, there we go. So we'll just, before we have a special guest. We have a special guest. I don't know that I've ever found that, what name our little friend it has. Cookies and cream. He looks like a cookies and cream pot of ice cream. So that's wonderful. We're welcome. It's always nice to have. Oh, and that, are there any announcements? If you have announcements come up, I am gonna say every time I come up here and I see food in the back, I am so proud of our Rotary for one step at a time, one bag at a time. So far I think we have over 1,200 pounds of food that we've donated to the food bank, and I love that I talked this morning with Philip, who seriously thinks about when he's buying that exactly how many pounds it's going to be. So he has thought beyond and is including if he wants to win. So he is buying pancake mix, peanut butter and jelly in glass containers, speaking of the poundage. So, that's a guy who does not want to sing in front of the Wednesday class. I don't want to be there singing with him either. So keep it up, we're doing an awesome job. And with that, I also found, and I think somebody has to sign up, I think it's Lisa. Or did you bring Judy the sign up for Art Along the Road? Okay, so I know that was one thing we wanted to do, is make sure that we sign up to help out with Art Along the Road. And look at all these heavy packages coming in, it's so exciting. Thank you, Steve. Anyway, so, yeah, I lost track. Anyway, so there, Art Along the Road is sign up that she is going around. If you have any time, I think that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're still looking for people to man some of the corners where there are, whatever those things are, pensions or whatever that we move. So sign up for that. It's a great community event. That's October 3rd through 5th. The pool party that we're aware of has unfortunately been canceled. So I'm kind of looking to make sure that everybody that signed up knows that there's no longer social this month. I think Tommy was gonna bring in a card to send around so that we could send something to Patty and Jed, say, hey, real soon, our thoughts are with you. So did you have that, Tommy, or is it my imagination?
It's in her car.
It's in her car, she's gonna get it. Okay, so she'll get that, and that will be signed, because we wanna make sure that they know our hearts are with them. I have something coming up, I want you just to mark your calendars for September 15th. I want to do our trade cleanup. We haven't done our trade cleanup for a couple of years, that we've devoted ourselves to doing it. Last time we did it, it was pouring down rain in November and cold, and I said no, because most of the people who signed up were people who were elderly, and I thought, sometimes it's kind of scary. So I have contacted Christine, waiting for a phone call back. I'm hoping September 13th will be a time. There's not a home football game, something I have to think about in my, in setting it down. So it's a Saturday. I'm thinking that we'll meet at like 9, do the cleanup, and then afterwards have lunch somewhere. So rather than going to breakfast, which is really early, and then cleaning up, we'll start at 9, but then we'll clean up and meet. I was thinking maybe the Brower guys, can't say that too loud. But anyway, so someone. So it's for lunch. So that's my plan. I'll send it a sign up list next week, but keep that date on your calendar. And other announcements, here we go.
Okay, so I have been doing our Rotary Club social media for a long time, really long time, forever. And it's time for a change. I've kind of lost my excitement about it, and I'm getting old, man. We need a young person to do it. So Ashley DeVault is starting her own business. She's gonna be doing social media for different small businesses around town. She is incredibly good at it. So if you know of any small businesses who could use some help with their social media, you should definitely talk to Ashley. But from now on, when you have something you want posted for Rotary on our Facebook page, you need to email it to Ashley. Please make sure you don't just send her a picture. You need to include some words so she knows what you want her to say about it. You can copy me as well. I'll be her backup. I'll continue to work with her, but she's gonna be your main source from now on. So help her out. She's gonna be amazing, and send her some business if you know of anybody who could use some help. Do you wanna say anything, Ashley?
Great, thank you. Thank you, after that.
Okay, just another reminder about the clothing fair. So get through those closets and send us all the good stuff, okay? Men and women's clothing gently used.
Okay, and that actually, thank you, Jeannie, that kind of brings up all these papers that are up on the wall behind you. I have sent out to you email, and some of you are probably getting sick of my emails, but there's lots to do. Anyway, I have sent out the current, as of 8/27, there might be a few changes, but board of directors is pretty well set. I mean, that is who we have, that's who we're dealing with this here. Wonderful people. Over here, we have admin, those are the people who set up the programs. We had a meeting just the other day to set up programs, tech support, and these wonderful people over here who volunteer to give and help with the tech support, which is big. Sergeant of Arms, Lutz, who's not here now, he's on his way to Hawaii. Don't you feel for him? Anyway, so he is kind of in charge of putting together someone for the last few minutes to gather happy bucks. Then we have outside meetings, the membership engagement, which Bev has graciously been in charge of for quite a while, which is when we get new members, what is the process they go through, how they're interviewed, and then how to get them from red badge to blue badge. That's their job. Fellowship team is basically putting together fireside or monthly socials. And the fireside social has a couple different meanings. It's to help people learn and socialize outside of the meeting and realize how many wonderful, supportive, fun people there are in our club. Unfortunately, we had to cancel this month, but we will come up with other ones, social events, because it's really important. I think that we have those and we build good friendships. Then public image. And you can see over here, I had Jamie in front of, in charge of pictures and Facebook, but now I can cross that off. And I can take this little piece of paper and write, Ashley's name on it and just put it on there so that I know, okay, Ashley's gonna take that over. Or maybe somebody else wants to help with it. Currently on that team, we have Allison, Cindy, Judy, no, that's it. We have Jamie, we have Steve, that's the navigator, which we're so thankful for, and Allison. So if you wanna help with that, you can put your name up there too, if you think that's your strength and that's something that you would like to do. We have the club fundraiser, which we know is changing. We're having our first meeting tonight about the changes that we're making in Porch Fest with some of the people who volunteered to step up to the plate and do things because we're burning some people out. And we know that. And it's the last thing we want to do in our club is burn people out. So fundraising, there's her names on there. Patty Hansen has been in charge. We know that she's asked to be relieved. She's in the process of breaking her role into several parts. I do know Danielle Avia has stepped to the plate to help with some of that. So if that's something that you want to do, there we go. Youth services, you know, we have Ryla, Interact, Four-Way Speech, which often are run by Lynn Sharpen, but she can always use some help. And if you're interested in going out and helping in North Valley, I'm sure she would love your help. So that's something that you could. The literacy program kind of takes care of itself a little bit. It's just a matter of signing up at the schools, and I'll talk to Kelly. Kelly is in charge of that one, and you can see a lot of people are signed up. If that's something that you just don't want to do and you signed up in the past, you could cross your name off and say, you know, it just didn't work for me. I don't want to do it in the future. If you want to stay on, just put your name up there because it'll be there. So we've got that going on for youth services. We have services of ourselves. So once again, Lisa Looney, I will say that, you know, one thing Kelly and I just kind of made a commitment to help. We give a little bit more money. Knowing that anything we do, we have to do times 8, because we do get 8 service of self awards, which are wonderful for our community. So thank you, Lisa, for that. So if that's something that you're interested in, those are the people that are helping now. Community service, I could have written everybody in the club's name on that one, because everybody is here for community service, and I didn't. But one thing that Doug does that I truly appreciate is that he hears things like, oh, we've got the mock interviews coming up, the high school notified us, we need volunteers. He just sends out an email and then you can sign up and go do that. So that's kind of where I left that rather than putting everything on there, because we usually get a great turnout for backpacks. That's what people love to do, is those sorts of activities. Operation Joy, I have Jamie still up there just simply because she talked about it. Cards, Christmas cards, anything that you can write. If you're just sitting around, you can get them out now. We just write little notes to people because we send them to the various nursing homes in the community, and I do think that is something to bring joy to that, those community members. The Parkway Trash, I hope that you'll sign up for that next week. That'll also be somewhat social. Shoes That Fit, we do that as a commitment we've made. We've gotten a grant for the Veterans Village, which I'm very excited to hear about today. That's an upcoming commitment. So community service, I think I think we could leave it that way. I don't think I could have written everybody's name up there, but it was just kind of, oh my gosh, you can look online and see if your name's on there. And then we just have the new economic development team that's kind of branching off and trying to do the mentoring program. I'm excited about that. I know Danielle is involved, Doug's involved, Steve's involved. If you want to be more involved with that, I know that we are going to look around and see what your strengths are in the community, so that if we have a mentor, somebody who's kind of does something that we know that you're passionate about, we might reach out to you specifically and say, hey, we've got somebody for you. We got a grants team, which Tommy Drake leads, Jim and Jolene. That is actually a fascinating committee, because that's where we get our money to do our projects, is through the grants. And I started going to some of the grant meetings, and it is kind of fascinating. Ties in with the World Community Team as well, because they're kind of doing the same thing, service team looking for projects worldwide. So not only do we do things here in our community, which I know we're all excited about, but Rotary does some amazing things in projects. We've learned, and I'm hoping to hear more about Jim and Jolene's trip to Cozumel, because that project that we've been instrumental in is just really wrapping up. and I think I'm gonna try to do more, so we'll hear more about that. The vocational service award, I'm gonna put myself in charge of, because that's something in the past, my husband in 2003 was the road gateway vocational. I still have it on my bedroom wall, the award that he got as long as the state home builder of the year for the entire state. And it's wonderful as a vocation. If you have a vocation, you can find somebody who has really done a lot for the community. So I'd like to keep that one alive. Anyway, so it's out there. And I also highlighted, and it purposely did it in a different color, the Rotary Foundation. Because one thing that I've been confused about, and it's really becoming stone clear, is how important that is every Rotarian every year. If just as little as $25 a year, if you just get a whole lot of credit for everybody being involved. If you can give more, that's the money that goes to do the worldwide things and all the really big important things that go on in the world, which are wonderful. Rotary is an amazing club. And it has the sustainability built in, and you're making a difference around the world. So those are the committees. So I want you to look at it today. And I'll have them back again next week. And I have pens over here and I have paper. If you know what you want to do, or you can talk to me, I'll put your name on and stick it up there. But the whole reason I do this is because I'm an elementary school teacher. And we can do things online, because I know that's, the up and coming grade. But I'm kind of like the most hands-on, likes to walk around and see things, places, and kind of look at it and see it visually. Because I get too many emails and they just all come and they all run together and I just can't. So I go back to my elementary school roots and say, okay, kids, let's put this up there. You can walk around, because I always like to walk around. Stick notes on there and say, yes, no, I'm done with that, but I'd really like to do this. So I'm gonna have these up here and I will have them up here again next week. And over the next several weeks, we'll get this cemented down. So take the time to look. Then when you go back to the email that I sent, it might make a little bit more sense as to see, okay, that's right, I did say I was gonna do that, but I forgot and nobody contacted me, which I've heard a lot of, and that's okay. But this year, I really wanna get a commitment from everybody. Let's help out, let's not burn people out. Let's say, yes, that's something I'm interested in helping them out, and get it set. So, and with that, that's, like I said, that's what I'm doing for my elementary school background. In the meantime, I'm gonna turn this over to Doug, because one of the things I'm most excited about this year is our project we have coming up. If you've been at Hillcrest, you've driven up Hillcrest and seen all that road work ahead and all the dirt being dug up, that's the project that Doug has for years. And trust me, I've been along the ride for years. These things take years to get going. And so I've been along on that ride, and Doug should be so proud of what he has gotten for this community. It's kind of like the follow-up to Foundry Village, something that we can all be proud of, knowing in this community, our Rotary pulled that together. We were all running behind Doug. So it's time for us to put on our tennis shoes and run behind Doug again and help get this Veterans Village up and running, and the tree project, the veteran tree project, which we will plant trees. I'm so excited for that. I have to be on the gig. So with further ado, I'm gonna hand this over to.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have the pleasure of being up here, and we're gonna talk about Mid-Road Foundation, which is the parent organization of what's gonna be Veterans Village and is Foundry Village that most of you all helped build and whatnot. And I get to introduce Susan, because she's gonna come up and talk about the foundation, and then I'm gonna talk about Hillcrest Veterans Village. So Susan Clark is our executive director of our foundation. She's been with us about a year and a half now, maybe 2 years. Let me rephrase that, Dr. Susan Clark, she has a PhD. I think those are hard to get, so I think it's worth mentioning. She's going to talk about what we do in the foundation, because she's much more involved in the details of the navigation services and Foundry and whatnot. And then I'm going to again touch on Hillcrest Veterans Village and how you can help with that. So I'm going to get the clicker so we can click through this, and I'm going to hand the microphone over to you.
Down button.
Give this to you.
Down button.
Down button.
Not working.
Wait, turn it on.
Turn it on.
On button. On button, down button.
Down button.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad Valerie mentioned that Rotary goes worldwide, because when I was a Corps volunteer, we were looking for books for an elementary school in one of the villages I helped. And Rotary Club donated books in Spanish and English to the new library at this elementary school, so it's coming full circle. So today I'm here to talk about Hillcrest Foundation. I'm very proud to do that. I'm very excited that I'm a part of this organization. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the history of, and to understand its name, but I'm also gonna talk about our programs and projects. I'll talk about Evans Place, Foundry Village, and our mobile navigation services, and then turn it on over to Doug. But Mid-Road Foundation was originally an independent physicians group that had come together because they had gotten a grant for $750,000 to help rural physicians have medical records. And as a result, they were giving out that $750,000 to those physicians, hence the name foundation. Today, since probably about 2018, the organization has sort of evolved and focuses now on the social determinants of health, which includes the built environment, transportation, education, and housing. And this board has really leaned into housing, as you all very well know. And so with that, Mid-Road Foundation has, this is our geography. We follow the footprint of All Care Health. We work in Josephine County primarily, Jackson County as well. We go to 2 zip codes in Douglas County, Azalea and Glendale. And sort of aspirationally, one day we may be in Eastern Korea. So, but Evans Place is a program that I'm very excited to tell you about if you don't already know about it. It's on Hillcrest, very near where Veterans Village will be. And it is a community house it houses seven individuals. It's 6 bedrooms, 4 baths. It's for low-income seniors, 55 and older. And it was established in September 2023 when the first participants. There is case management there. It's monthly. It's intended to be independent living, but we do try and help people meet their life goals. You only pay 30% of your income no matter what it is. So if you get $600 in Social Security, you pay $200 in program fees, and it's nominal fee right now for utilities is about $40 a month. And they can stay there as long as they like, or as little as they want. We've had 3 people move on to their own apartments because they've gotten HUD vouchers, and we have another person getting ready to do that. So, but we also have 3 people who say they're never going to leave. So, and it works both ways. We do teach life skills classes currently. We are teaching a class that's themed around a book called Hope for the Best and Plan for the Rest. So it's about dealing with chronic illnesses and how to get the most out of working with your physician or whatever. So the next project I'd like to talk to you about, which I think you guys are very well aware of, is Foundry Village. We have always owned it as an organization, but we took over operations in August of last year, so we've been operating it as well as owning it now for a year. And that's been very exciting. We are currently looking, if you know of anyone, we're looking for someone to be a participant host during the graveyard shift. So we have case management there weekly with Kristen, the lead navigator for Foundry Village, and we're hoping to have some people there in the evenings as well. So that job is posted on our website, you know. There are weekly chores. There are bi-monthly house meetings. We typically have a presenter in once a month when we talk about credit counseling or whatever topics the participants are interested in. The other one is more of a general house meeting. There's a time limit of 24 months, and there are program fees. So participants pay $250. That includes their program fee and their utilities. And after their 6 months, we ask them to put in an extra $10 for savings. After their 13 or 12 months, we ask them to put in $25 for savings. And when they get to, if they're still there at month 18, we start to ask them to put in $40. So if they were to stay there the full 2 years or 24 months, they would get back that savings, which would be almost $900. And they can use that for moving costs or whatever they want, down payment, apartment. Yes, so there's no referral needed for this, you can be referred by an agency or you can self-referral. There's currently a waiting list for Foundry Village. We're now looking at folks that signed up back in January. So it's quite a long list right now. I can go on, but I'll let you guys ask questions. The next, the next program I want to talk about is your mobile navigation. And so it's our mobile navigators that work with the folks in Foundry and Evans Place doing case management and life skills classes and organizing activities. But we also have mobile navigators who work with just anyone who might be looking for some help navigating something like, how do I fill out a HUD voucher? How do I get connected to healthcare? Each of our, or all of our mobile navigators are OHP assistants, which means they can help people get on OHP, which is a Oregon Health Plan, or get insurance through Marketplace. They're certified to do that. We also have two mobile navigators who are justice involved assistants, which means they can help people who are leaving a county jail get on back on their health care when they leave. So we're basically there to help people get things they need. We did have a grant for birth certificates. We're looking forward to it being renewed in this year for another 2 years. We actually used up all the funds. So if somebody wants help getting a birth certificate and they're unhoused or about to become unhoused, we can cover the cost of that and help them get that paperwork off to the appropriate state to get their social security, which is a fundamental document for anything else. I'd be happy to talk more about our mobile navigators, but the real reason I think you guys are excited to be here is to talk about Veterans Village, life skills. I did mention that we teach life skills classes. I did not mention that we also teach Rentwell. And Rentwell is a course, we teach it in 8 weeks for 2.5 hours. And the participants in the Rentwell course learn about their rights and responsibilities as a tenant, how to communicate, maybe a bad credit score, or something in their past that might not be particularly attractive to a landlord. They learn how to move out the right way, what's going to be expected of you when you move out. Basically how to find housing and keep it. But what is really great about it is after they complete the course, they get a certificate that they can turn around and give to a landlord. That is an incentive for a landlord to perhaps rent to someone they might not otherwise want to, or take a chance on. And that certificate entitles the landlord to $5,000 above and beyond any deposit that the person has to cover if they were to skip out, to cover rent, to cover damages, as long as that person, it's only good for the first year of rental. But the organization, Project Transitions, who funds this and has created this curriculum, believes in their curriculum so much that they feel that if someone goes through this, you can pretty much count that they'll be a good tenant. So that's just a real great, and that Rentwell course we're going to be starting again the very last Tuesday of September at our office. So if you know someone who'd be interested in taking Rentwell, please have them contact Member Foundation. Yeah. On to Veterans Village.
Yeah, how about questions, any questions about Foundry or whatever else? Amanda? Oh.
The Evans project connects the elderly to senior assisted living homes if they need to move into that kind of thing.
So
that be the navigation.
Well, the mobile navigators can provide them information about that. And then they would go ahead and pursue that themselves or maybe with their own caseworker. But sure, we absolutely have a list of information to provide them, but we don't actually participate in that transition. to the
We can
question.
actually hear the question.
Oh, the question was, does Midroad Foundation for Evans Place help people move into assisted living?
Thank you.
I didn't know a lot of this, and I live with how do people find out those navigation, is it like, could they go to like 211, is it 211 that if all the nonprofits, or is it listed there?
Yep, we are listed on 211. We are at events with flyers. You can go to our website, which is www.midroadfoundation.org. Yeah, all those places.
And that navigation services, that's kind of one of the things we've learned from Foundry and with Rotary is that intercepting people before they really get into crisis is a really important spot. It makes it much easier to keep them out of crisis. And where was the other question there, David?
Not to raise a strange point, but you mentioned the advertising of it or the talking about it was through internet. What about the people that don't have that?
Right, well, that is why our local navigators go to recovery fairs, substance abuse affairs. We have our community partners who make referrals to us. You can path other agencies in the community. Yeah, so churches, Bethany Presbyterian is.
How do you find people go to internet?
Just what she was describing.
Yeah, we table at events like, the stand-up event that's coming up in Josephine County, which is for seniors, or stand down. We're going to be at Teen Seniors events, Josephine County Fairgrounds. We're being in September at, Substance Abuse Recovery Fair. There, that happens at the church across from Fred Meyer. We'll be tabling there. So, we try and get out of the community at all those events where people can access information about services. Good question.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good. In Medford, there is a fenced tent area, camping area that has a little conference room. So that people can, A, store some of their belongings, B, get meals, and C, get counseling. I know that the city parks will not work, however, the area west of Sixth Street, just as you cross the Caveman Bridge, is, even though it's a park, is ignored. Maybe they could donate that to some organization, and you or some other organization could build that kind of facility. I just want to share my 2 cents worth. That's not a question, that's a suggestion.
If you've got the money, we will build.
Yes. We will do that.
And,
Other questions?
You said there was an office? Oh, office, where's your office?
We had an office, yes. We had an office. I don't remember the address. It's on Fifth Street.
Yeah.
It's the very old Goodwill building where you drop things off on Fifth, between Fifth and M and.
Yeah.
L.
Yeah. Kind of like a.
yes, but it is not
a place.
open to the public. We have mobile navigators who go out in the community, but we do use our office for our grandma classes. Yeah. So if you dropped by, our mobile navigators might be out, you'll just simply be locked.
It's a super secret location and they don't shouldn't let me in either. So don't feel bad if you don't get to go in. You didn't let me in. Any other questions?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to talk about New Road with you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna touch on. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about Veterans Village. Some of you know a bit about what's going on there. So a number of years back, from some generosity of Tommy Drake, we tried to build a piece of something similar to. Where is the clicker? I got it. Yeah, so, okay, so a few years back, we attempted to build a series of apartment buildings like this on a piece of property on Hillcrest Way, which was, Tommy Drake generously donated for the purposes of doing that. It didn't work out for us because of the steep slope and the cost of doing the building. But the wonderful part about that whole process is it got us rolling down the way, got the ball rolling on this other project. And we were able to take our experience and our connections with the state with the grant writers and whatnot, and parlay it into this particular facility. And this is Hillcrest Veterans Village. It is gonna be 36 apartments. There's 3 apartment buildings. And on the right, your community services building. The 3 apartment buildings are 12 units each. One of the apartment complexes has 2-bedroom units, and then the other 2 buildings have 1-bedroom units. They are for veterans, the 36 units, and up the upper right corner of the square is the Evans House we've talked about. It's up there and it remains, and you can't necessarily see the wetland on the left side. The property line, yep, is on the right side of that, so we've subdivided it, so we can continue to develop the Evans House side. And goals in the future are to maybe build either 1 or 2 more similar things to Evans House, 6, 7, 8-bedroom houses for seniors, or maybe another cohort of people. We've talked a little bit about Women's Crisis Support Team, and maybe partnering with them for a house with people coming out of crisis that need a long-term place to stay. Or perhaps we may build a series of small houses for seniors up there. We don't know, that's down the road once we get Hillcrest Village further along, then we'll begin to explore that and where we can find the grant money to do that. I don't know what to tell you about the construction, other than it started. We've started doing excavation out there. The money from the state is about 95% of what we need to get the project done. We have to raise out the last 5%, which is about $250,000. We've gotten some grants, we've gotten some very generous donations up to date. But we still have maybe, I'm not sure, without doing some math, recently, but probably about $180,000, $190,000 to go to finish this off with the community services building. Again, they started construction, and funny story, because I'm not there and I have to deal with it. But there was a blackout, a power blackout in the northwest part of town, northeast, that was us. Yesterday.
I can tell my dad.
Yeah, I tell you that was us. Yeah, I got a little call, I was like, oh, you got too close to the power line and blew up a transformer. So I don't know, I haven't gotten the details yet. But anyway, I think the power's back on, right?
Yeah.
Couple hours, no power up there, as the excavation contractor got too close to something. If something wasn't marked well, we'll get the details, so you after that. So they are moving along quite fast. I think they're gonna have what's called the closing documents from the state in about 10 days, which is great. And the permits will be ready to be issued as well, and we'll start full bore. The project is likely to be done in about 14 months or so. So sometime late spring, 16 months, maybe weather will slow us down, something else, some other broken power line may slow us down or something, in the future, but, we're at about 14 months, which is really great. We have all, the club is sort of stepped forward and said they're gonna raise money, for the tree effort, which is a way of getting donations for the project. We've asked people to sponsor trees in honor of veterans at $300 a tree. And the veteran or the unit of the veteran will be honored inside the navigation services building. And the community services building, navigation services, that's gonna be the offices where the property management is and the various entities that will come and provide navigation services for the veterans that are there. And in that building will be the plaques or whatever it is that we design to honor those people that, honor the veterans that, had a tree block in their name. Not sure what else to talk about. Anybody? Yeah.
When would the tree part be?
I think the trees are gonna probably happen in late winter, so you all have your mud boots ready. We're gonna plant trees in late winter. There's been a little bit of, reluctance, and we've had to push a little bit on the general contractor, because the general contractor naturally wants to only be responsible for and be in charge of what they're in their contract, but we're trying to pull a few things out from them, such as the trees. And so there's a little pushback, but we'll probably be planting trees along the front section there of Hillcrest Drive, which we can sort of isolate away from the rest of the project, which means we go there to work and not be in their way, and they won't be over the top of us while we're planting trees. Probably February-ish, I would assume February, March. It'll be flexible, and we'll try to get you guys as much time, as much notice as possible.
Do you know where you're ordering the trees from, or is that?
No, that'll probably be in conjunction with a landscape architect team and what they do. I'm sure it'll be purchased with it. It'll be a very large purchase probably. With all those. The other thing we're doing, which I'm excited about, is we're also developing a construction training program at the high schools. At Grants Pass High and Adiola. And we got a grant, and we're in line to get a second grant for the second half of the year. We got a grant to pay the high school students as interns. And we're going to work to bring them up there and set aside some bits of work there at the project for those students as well. Which is really nice. Probably a little concrete work, and then, we're gonna be building a couple of smoking areas as well, so people aren't smoking inside or in the breezeways. So we'll be doing that as well, yeah.
Where on Hillcrest is it? Is this east or west of the freeway?
It would be west or south, because the freeway kind of goes up like that right there, so it's downhill of the freeway.
It's downhill.
Right, it's right across the street from the cemetery. Yeah, yeah. Very quiet neighbors and certainly.
Yeah.
Something funny. There's a colorful joke.
I do have a question about the city, where sidewalks are going to be put on.
Yeah, so the city, we've really gotten fortunate here with this bill. There's really been a bunch of really good community partners, which I must say, in the long-term grant process, it's really important for the community to step up and be partners with this. And so the city has, through its ARPA dollars, and the county as well did a little bit, a couple years, so that's really helpful. And then part of our request for donations fits under that, how's the community helping, what's the community doing to get this thing built? And so that's part of the tree thing and everything. But the city is also upgrading Hillcrest Drive at the very bottom of that line. That's Hillcrest Drive. The city is upgrading that street as well at the same time. They're actually gonna be starting. Do we have a schedule on them yet? Do you know? No, we don't have a schedule on that. But they went out to bid on that project. I believe they got their bids in. So the city is putting in a sewer line, which is a great savings to us. Otherwise we'd have to do it. And they're upgrading the street, which means they're widening it. We're putting a sidewalk, and it's not a sidewalk, it's a multimodal path, meaning bicycles, people, whatever else, on the south side of the street. So our side of the street doesn't have to have sidewalk curb cutters, which is another big savings. to
That's a
us.
big savings, and I will say, I'm sure they'll put a crosswalk or something in, but.
Yeah, we have two, I think, right? We have two crosswalks, two blinking lights.
Yeah, makes sense, I was,
One, two, one,
okay,
One crosswalk, but two beacons.
two beacons, two flashing lights.
okay, that's important. So I was just gonna say, if you've gone down 10th Street, the county was the one that, because 10th Street, believe it or not, belongs to the county. And so the county agreed, and they actually completed sidewalks all the way down to Hillcrest. And then they actually continued in the state when they were doing the bridge, seismic bridge refit, they put a sidewalk up. And so it's, if you look at it, it's a wider sidewalk than normal. And I think that's the plan, is to put that at Hillcrest, which I don't know if any of you know, but there's where we planted the trees before, and we still want to continue on that project. The Hillcrest Park is up there, and they're kind of doing that at the same time, because that will come up soon again, is building some walking paths there. So this will really help that part of town, and it will be a real plus in terms of walking. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, Valerie and I have talked about this a few times, and I think we've talked a little bit in Rock Foundation, just trying to figure out how to incorporate a walking path from that upper park on the other side of the freeway down through us, through All Care's property and off to the.
Just to let you know,
Yeah.
Josh was talking about it last night as well. He's the all care person. He said the new CEO actually goes up there now and walks all the time.
Yeah.
So they're very aware that, because they're not gonna have to develop it right away, but they think that would be a great opportunity
Yeah.
for them also. So
Yeah.
nice, good things. Good
Yeah,
things
it's a
happening.
good, what's the word, synergistic
Okay, any other questions if you have?
process. No, okay, so anyway, if you're interested in sponsoring a tree in honor of a veteran, or not a veteran, or whatever you wanna do, we're taking donations of all kinds. Anything, we're gonna need, again, we're gonna need donations to finish this off, but we're also gonna need referrals. So if you know of veterans who might qualify, it's low income, 6% of AMI, and AMI is $40-ish thousand. What's AMI?
Someone making less than 31,000.
So that's 60%, right? So somebody making less than $30,000 a year would be who would qualify
section, it's almost 32, so less than 32,000.
Less than $32,000 is what they would make per year to qualify to live there. So we need referrals. If you know of somebody, please send them our way. We're gonna try. We've gotten a few names so far, so we're gonna keep a list, and then once we get time for lease up, then we'll be contacting them, having them actually fill things out. We need donations, and then we'll need volunteers, but I'll be there for that, so I'm gonna tell you that. John's got her.
When you say veterans.
Yes.
What about the married veterans? How does that work?
They can be there, they can be there.
And so they're
And so can children of veterans.
non-veteran spouse?
Non-veteran spouse can be there
Okay.
with their veteran spouse. So a wife or a husband who was what do you call it when the person died, widower, thank you. I don't know that qualifies, does it? No, that does not qualify, if that's what you mean. No.
Oh, back.
Just what is the community service building gonna be on?
So it's offices for navigation services, so it's a
Community, like meetings or?
Yes, yes, so there's a large room for community meetings with like a kitchenette, banquette in it, a fridge and a stove. So there can be, a tenant can use it as a birthday party sort of place. They wanted to do that, and then when we have large meetings, that'll be held there as well. And then there's navigation offices, which one would include property management as well. And then, and whatever the other ones, yeah, you want to come.
There'll be a resident service coordinator.
Resident service coordinator, who's given the navigator, giving services to them. And then property management, there'll be the person who does maintenance will have an office there as well, or a room for their stuff. And then, I forget anything.
It's for that community.
Yes, it's for that, yeah, yes. I don't see it being used for, maybe one of the persons that live there might have a club that they're in. I don't know, we've not gone down the path of, would they be able to reserve the space for their club meeting? I don't know, we haven't gone, she's nodding her head, yes. I would assume so, if it doesn't interfere with other things, but
Library of things.
library of things, so there's a variety of services, for that. But a lot of that hasn't been fleshed out yet. I think John's next.
If you don't fill it with veterans, are you gonna rent it to other, low-income people, low-income seniors?
We do have, the ability, how many units do you have? 14, 12?
14.
14 of the units are not mandated by the state to be veterans. 22 are mandated because that money comes from veteran services, but 14 units are not mandated by state, but we've committed to it ourselves. And I don't think there's going to be a problem with veterans, not now and not for the next 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
But after the Middle East wars,
Hey, I was curious, what is going to be the expense to the veterans?
they pay rent, and I want to say it's roughly 30% of their.
30%, okay, thank you.
Whatever they want to. So it's a greatly reduced rent. I would say, I think I saw numbers with the spreadsheets of $600, $500 per unit. Is that ish? No. Yeah. Oh,
It'll be subsidized
right.
by like HUD dash vouchers or voucher that they might bring from, the. People on the microphone can't hear.
Yeah. So it'll be the rent will be subsidized in some way or another for the veterans. The veteran themselves will probably not pay very much at all. Amanda?
The staff that you have in the main building that provide services, are those going to be veterans? And will they be connected to services at the VA?
Yeah, they'll be connected and the VA will bring people there. We've got some MOUs with various organizations that will bring their staff there. That's the reason for the navigation building, so people can come to the veterans versus the veterans having to go there. Will the people providing services be veterans themselves? We have no idea. Yeah, but I would assume that we toured a facility in Salem. I think I gotta get off the stage here in a minute too. We toured a facility in Salem and they had what was his title? The gentleman that gave us the tour in Salem. You remember? Peer support. Thank you. Yeah, something like it. So he's a veteran and he's paid to give them support. I mean, I would imagine we would be doing the same thing. It is, yeah, it makes a difference, yes.
And I was gonna say donation wise, if you do wanna make a donation, write it out to the mid-grove, no, I'm gonna say mid-grove, write it out to the foundation, am I correct? I mean, that is in this tax.
Mid-growth foundation.
Mid-grove foundation, can they go through ours and over, or no? Does it?
Jan, I don't know if Jan wants that. Doesn't.
Okay, it's just, yeah, for tax division, it needs to be done through a foundation. I've just learned the ropes. so-
Either one, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so there's our club's foundation, which means is growth, RG, RG Foundation, is our club's foundation, you write a check to that, and then Jan will loop it to us, or you can just give it to us.
And then you put Bishop Stillage down in the little thing, so she knows where to put it.
Yeah, sorry.
RG Rotary.
RG Rotary.
Okay, and thank you, Doug, you need to sign those, if you're the only one person who has not, okay. Good. Okay, and with that, we'll just, yes, thank you for all of how work. For your good times. And with that, we'll go to our next slide. Sergeant of Arms.
Go to the next one.
Hold on. And we'll-
Bring up, Greg, Sergeant.
Here we go.
That's the side of the building, that's what it looks like.
There's another question.
At the, another question.
I know, we're running out of time.
I already have to reduce my half-hour speech to just a few minutes. So we can end up one, which is in 7 minutes. Okay, on this date, women's suffrage movement were in front of the White House in 1917. Asking and speaking for women's rights to the president at that time. On this date in 1963, there was a speech below this, the memorial to Abraham Lincoln. The speech was given by Martin Luther King. It started off and it was like many speeches, you know, if you're ever public speaking, you know when people aren't listening well. And the first part of the speech was that way. And then a woman in the audience, who was a gospel singer, who accompanied Martin Luther King on many of his speeches, she's the one who said, give him the I dream of speech. She had heard it. And that's that famous I have a dream. I was going to have you listen to excerpts of that speech, but because of our time constraint, we won't. Princess Diana was divorced on this day. Barack Obama accepted the nomination on this day. Emmett Till was a black boy, was beaten to death on this day. And if you don't know that story, which I didn't, his mother insisted on an open casket with no makeup to show what people had done to her little boy. Part of the civil rights movement. Okay, we are now going to migrate to another place, and that is Happy Bucks. Who would like to make a comment on Happy Bucks? Or you can just put your money on the table and we'll collect it.
I want to.
Hello there. My nephew, Jeremy, is the only relative I have, and he just got released from the UC Davis Cancer Center, where he's been in isolation for 7 weeks.
Oh.
And his cancer is not curable, but treatable, and I'm just grateful that he's breathing.
So. That's really $40.
Oh, Patty,
Yeah.
that's. Yeah. I had 5 happy bucks today, and my happy bucks are because Mary, my wife, and I partnered today at Newman United to feed, I call them the herd, and the people that are unhoused. And I made, we had, 6 casseroles, of which 5 were devoured. And all the accoutrements that went with it, like quesadillas and muffins and biscuits. And, we just had a really nice time today. And might I say that I felt like our homeless population looked better than I've seen them look for quite some time. That's
I have 20 guilty bucks because of what Kelly said last week about the kid who had no food. I was so sick in the stomach that day. So I really, because I was brought up with table always, every day, full of food. And if you don't finish what you took from your plate, you will be told, kids are dying by Africa. And you're leaving food on the table. And I still have the problem till now, which causes my overweight. So yes, 25.
Okay. One last happy thought, and then I'm going to have a drawing of the cards.
I have a happy buck for all the work that,
Okay,
I'll top it with, I'll top it with 20, but it happens because of all of you though. It's not because of that vacuum. Yes.
It's a village, and I don't say what I'm happy about, but I threw $5 on the table because it ran out of time, so
Yeah.
here we go. Let's draw a card.
Is yours the king of spades?
Who has the king of spades?
King of spades.
Oh.
King of spades.
And thank you very much. And I mentioned, I heard you mention the family, but I had to go from David home and so I had a couple of That's another thing an elementary school teacher does. They always have 3 different lesson plans set before them. So that when they see those kids start to fade, they can jump into something else to try to get their attention. That's what works. So anyway, so thank you all. I'm so blessed. We are so blessed to have who we have in our Rotary. So I thank you all for being here. And my thought for today is, I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what right I have. And that was Abraham Lincoln. And that's what I said. And this is have a wonderful weekend. This is a later weekend, and I will want to sign up on that sign up list if you haven't signed up. And I also, I'm gonna have little pieces of paper, so you might wander up here and just see where you are at some point in time. Think about what you might be interested in, because it will all be back to your agenda next week. And then we'll ask you to sign up or cross out or do whatever you want to do. Thank you.